So in today's lecture we will be learning about Maxwell's equation for time varying field. So the Maxwell's equation, actually it is a collection of four set of equations. The first equation is a relation with magnetic field intensity. So let me show the equation for that. This is the first equation. This equation is the relation for magnetic field intensity, and this delta indicates that it is a differential form of this relation is in differential form. Then the next expression for this set, the next expression for this set is its integral form, and the equation is so this is the integral form of equation, and it is the relation of magnetic field intensity. Okay. Then this is the first set. Then second set of Maxwell equation is the relation of E. It is the relation of E. On left hand side you can see the differential form of the equation, and on right hand side its integral form is written here. The third expression and the fourth expression are, let us see the third expression. This third expression is the relation for D. On left hand side it is the differential form, and on right hand side it is the integral form. This H is magnetic field intensity. H is then this E is electric field intensity, then D is displacement density. Displacement density or electric flux density, there are two names, or electric flux density. Then the fourth relation of Maxwell equation is the relation for magnetic flux density, that is B. On left hand side shows the differential form of relation, and on right hand side you can see its integral form. So these are four equation. The collection is known as Maxwell equation, and this is for time constant field, means time non-varying field. So we will discuss on what is time varying field and what is time non-varying field. The time varying field is a field whose magnitude changes with time. And what is the field? The fields are nothing but the variables or the vectors that travel in space. So consider this as a vector A. If this vector indicates electromagnetic field, then it shows that the electromagnetic field from this antenna it is traveling in this direction. So this is a directional quantity, but simultaneously we know that the electromagnetic field has some information stored in the electromagnetic field. That information varies with the variation is dependent on the information. If there is no information, the variation will be 0, and if there is information, there will be variation. So the variation, it depends upon the information. So we know that the electromagnetic field, it travels in the space in a direction, and its magnitude is varying in nature. Its magnitude changes with time. So it is called as time varying field. Time varying field. And any vector in space can be called as time constant field or time non varying field. Suppose this is a vector whose name is A. It is A bar vector. It is time constant field. Means it is a field, means it is a vector quantity having a direction and magnitude, and it is not varying, its magnitude is not varying with time. But this time varying field has one aspect also, that is time. It is varying with distance, and as soon as you travel, its magnitude also changes with time. So it is called as time varying field. So the Maxwell, who has collected 4 equations and that are labeled as Maxwell equation, those equations are to be verified whether they are eligible for time varying field also or not. So we will check one by one all the 4 equations. Before that, we want to understand the 3 relations for deriving further expressions. We will see 3 relations. One is for D. So if you want to convert electric flux density into electric field intensity, then we will use this relation, D equals to epsilon E. If you want to convert magnetic flux density and between magnetic flux density and magnetic field intensity, then we will use this expression. This on the left hand side you can see it is magnetic flux density, and on right hand side is magnetic field intensity. Here in above equation, D is electric flux density, on right hand side electric field intensity. And the third relation is for current density. So you can see on left hand side there is a current density, and on right hand side we have electric field intensity. So electric field intensity has relation with D as well as J. This sigma is conductivity. If you take purely dielectric material or insulator, then in that case conductivity will be 0. So in that case electric field, in that case current density J will also be 0. And this epsilon is permittivity of space, and mu is permeability of the medium. Then we will see whether the first expression of Maxwell, whether it is eligible for time varying field also or not. So the Maxwell equation for in differential form is delta cross H is equals to J. This is the first expression. So we will start with that equation, and we will verify whether that expression is valid for time constant or not. So this is the first expression, delta cross H equal to J. Then we will apply a vector identity. We will apply vector identity over this relation. On both sides we will take divergence, that is del dot. Divergence means del dot on both sides. Then the expression will be del dot del cross H, on right hand side del dot J. So this is nothing but we have taken divergence on both sides. Taking divergence means applying del dot operator. Taking curl means del cross operator. Applying del cross is taking curl. Applying del dot means taking divergence. So we have taken divergence on both sides. So the standard relation is it was del cross H equal to J, and we have applied divergence. Then this left hand side del dot del cross H means any vector H, if a del operator is applied to H with both type of multiplication dot and cross, it will result in 0. It will give result as 0. It is standard identity you can find over internet, that any vector, if it is multiplied with another vector with the multiplication means dot type of multiplication as well as cross type of multiplication. Here we have applied delta cross H means we have done cross multiplication of with H with delta. Then with same vector, that is delta, we have done dot product also. So multiplication with dot and cross is done between two vectors. Then the result will be 0. So on left hand side we will get 0. So this expression results that delta dot j is equals to 0, because left hand side is 0, so delta dot j is 0. But in fact this delta dot j is nothing but continuity. It expresses continuity. So the expression for continuity is this is the expression for continuity, which shows that delta dot j is not equal to 0. It is equal to some non-zero value minus del by del t of rho v, provided that this rho v is either constant or 0. If rho v is 0, then delta dot j is 0. If rho v is constant, then differentiation of constant will be 0. But this rho v is non-zero. It is a non-zero value and it is not constant for time varying field. For time varying field, the charge will be varying in nature. The charge, if charge is varying, then volume charge density will also be varying. If it is a varying volume charge density, then its differentiation will not be 0. So this expression, that is continuity equation, shows that this delta dot j will be non-zero for time varying field. It will be non-zero. But we have applied over the standard expression delta cross h equal to j, we applied divergence on both sides. But this expression results in this shows that it is not valid. This expression is not valid. This expression about delta cross h is equal to j, it is invalid for time varying field. So we will modify the first expression. We will do one thing. We will change the first expression and we will add another conductivity, another current density. This, since j is current density, we will add one more parameter there to modify the above equation as this. We have added g. G is also current density, because we can add current density with current density only, because current density has unit current per unit area. Then we cannot add another parameter with that. We can add only the parameter which has unit current per unit area, and that is current density. So we have defined it as g. In this snapshot I have taken from book, it shows that as g. You can take j dash also. This is j current density and this is j dash. You can take any value, k also, but in this book it is taken g. Then after this we will apply divergence on both sides, as we did previously. We will apply divergence on both sides. So the expression will become delta cross h on left hand side and delta dot j plus g on right hand side. This is nothing but applying divergence on both sides. Then this will result. So in this expression we applied divergence on both sides. So the left hand side will become 0, as this left hand side is standard identity. It will become 0. So if it is 0, then this left hand side will become equal to 0. Then right hand side this will be equal to, we can equate this equation with 0. So this will look like this. So delta dot del j plus g is equals to 0. Now we will expand this equation. We will open the bracket. So we will get delta dot j plus delta dot g. So we can take one parameter on other side as delta dot j on left one side, and on another side it will be minus of delta dot g. So it will appear like this. Delta dot g equal to delta minus delta dot j. Then we will put, as we previously discussed, that this delta dot j is nothing but continuity. So the expression for continuity is delta dot j equals to minus, that was actually the expression. Let me put that equation. this delta dot J is equals to minus del by del T of rho V. So we can put this equation, because both equation has minus sign, then that will compensate the minus sign. So finally we will get this equation, delta dot G equals to del by del T of rho V with positive sign. So Maxwell third equation in point form, we have used that equation. And if you put rho V equals to, in this equation if you put rho V equals to delta dot D, then in this equation if you put rho V equals to delta dot D, then we can write like this. So we come up with this equation, del by del T of del dot D, because we know that when we studied divergence theorem, in that divergence of D is rho V. We studied that divergence of D is rho V and divergence of D is delta dot D. Divergence of D is rho V as well as divergence of D is delta dot D. Therefore delta dot D is equals to rho V. So we put rho V equal to delta dot D. So as this we have both as differential, this delta is also differential operator, and this del is also a differential operator, and this del differential operator is differentiating with respect to time, and this delta differential operator, it is differentiating with space, means it has components like x, y, z, del by del x plus del by del y plus del by del z. So both are different, time and space, both are right angle, means both are independent. So we can, and both the differentiation are applying over same variable, that is D. So the first application is delta, means differentiation with space, then second is differentiation with time. So since both differentiation are independent, since time and space are not dependent on each other, so we can change the order of differentiation easily. So we'll change the order and we'll get this expression. So after changing the order of differentiation, we will get, we have taken delta as second and this del by del T as first operator. So the first operation will be del by del T of D, then after on the result we will apply del. So just changing, because why we change, because you can see on both sides, left hand side is delta dot, on right hand side is also delta dot. So here in initially we have applied this divergence on both side as delta dot. You can see on both side we applied delta dot, so we can easily remove divergence from both side. As we applied divergence on both side in this expression, we can remove divergence from both side, because this appears as divergence, delta dot is divergence. So divergence is applied on both side, just by adjustment we got this expression. Now we can remove divergence from both sides, so this will result in expression like G equals to del by del T of D. This will give you expression as G equals to we'll take here G equals to del by del T of D. So this, here we got the expression for G, and we have introduced G where? We have introduced G at this place as here. So we had just added G and got the value of G as del by del T of D. We can put this value in this expression. So if you put this value in expression, the expression will change to this will give you final expression as delta cross H is equals to J plus del by del T of D. So while performing all this operation, we got a conclusion that the Maxwell first equation, that was this expression, it was not valid for time varying field. Thus we modified this equation by adding G, and we got the value of G, and after putting the value of G we got the modified equation. This is the modified equation. So this expression was only for time constant field, and for this expression will be for time varying field. So Maxwell first equation need to be changed for time varying field. Now we'll come to second equation, Maxwell's second equation. So Maxwell's second equation is about electric field intensity. In integral form, we have already seen that equation. It is integral form of E dot dl equals to 0. This is the integral form of Maxwell's second equation. So this expression shows that it states that the potential difference, that the voltage or potential difference or EMF, electromagnetic field or electromotive force along the closed path, this is a closed path, along the closed path is always equal to 0. This expression expresses that if you have a closed conductor, closed path, then there will not be any variation in voltage. If you find this voltage here, if for example if you have 6 volt here, this value 6 value will be here. So if you see that there will not be any change. So this expression indicates that the potential difference or electromotive force along the closed path is always equal to 0. This is for time constant field. But if you have a conductor and if there is a varying voltage, if you have a conductor like this, for example if you have a coil with multiple turns, and if you apply a varying nature voltage, not a constant voltage, varying voltage, then that varying voltage will produce varying flux phi over it. Because of varying nature of voltage, varying flux will produce, and that varying flux will again produce EMF, and will not keep the voltage on one side equal to the voltage on another side. That EMF will develop, and the application of this voltage and the produced EMF voltage, this will produce the change in potential. Means we can find the potential difference not equal to 0. The potential difference initially it was equal to 0, but here after applying the varying field, varying voltage, we will get varying flux, and that will be as expressed by Faraday law of electromagnetic induction. Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, which states that the electromagnetic field or potential difference is induced along the closed path if the magnetic flux linked with the closed path changes with time. You have already studied Faraday's law from 12th, I think. So Faraday law shows that if you change the flux, it will produce EMF, or if you change the EMF, it will give you flux. So that Faraday law of induction in a mathematical form, it is like this. This expression shows Faraday law of induction. Means the rate of change of flux gives you V, voltage or EMF induced. So rate of change of flux gives you EMF. It gives you EMF, and this negative sign, it indicates that the EMF induced will have direction opposite to that of the direction of flux. It is because this flux is also produced by a voltage. So the induced voltage will have direction opposite to that of the source, source voltage or source flux. This is Faraday law of induction. Now if we use this concept, then this will give you V induced for time varying field. But the first expression shows that if you add all E's over dl, means differential length or complete length, if you add all the length of conductive wire, then you are the EMF, you will get 0 EMF, no change in EMF. But if you apply varying flux or varying voltage, then that will give you varying flux, and because of that there will be EMF induced, and this will be a non-zero value. So you can put this value here, we can put V induced here to get this the final expression as V induced equals to integration of E dot dl. So on left hand side we have integration of E dot dl, and on right hand side previously it was 0, but now for time varying field it is V induced, it is V induced. So we already had V induced here as equal to d by dt of phi with minus sign, and this expression is non-zero and it is having value V induced. So we can equate both these expression, and this will result in E dot dl equals to minus d by dt of d phi. So just we have equated both these expressions. Now this B, there is a relation with flux density. This phi has a relation with flux density, because the whenever there is a current change in current, there will be flux, and current flux per unit area will be flux density. So the expression for flux density is phi equals to integration B dot ds. Means if you integrate the flux density over complete surface area, then you will get total flux present in that area. So if you put this expression phi in above equation, then this will become this is the equation. On left hand side we have E dot dl, and on right hand side we have d by dt of phi, and at this phi we have substituted this integration as this integration B dot ds. Now we can change the order of this operation also, since differentiation and integration both are independent. So and this differentiation is differentiation with time, and integration is with surface area, means space. So because their aspects are totally different, they are independent, so we can change the order of expression. So we will get the final expression by changing this order of operation, means we will take the integration outside, we will take the differentiation inside. So we will get the final expression as integration E dot dl equals to minus integration del by del t of B dot ds. Means we have taken this del by del t of B inside the integration. So integration with respect to ds. So we have taken the differentiation with B inside the integration. So the first operation that will be performed is differentiation. Then on the result of this differentiation, the integration operation will be performed. Now on left hand side we have integration, line integration E dot dl, and on right hand side we have surface integration. In previous derivation, in Maxwell first equation, we have obtained the relation at the end. We have obtained a relation like delta dot on left hand side, on right hand side we have delta dot. So we have removed both delta dot, but here to remove this expression surface integration, we don't have equal. On left hand side we have line integration, on right hand side we have surface integration. So we have to change line integration to surface integration, and that can be performed with the help of Stokes theorem, because Stokes theorem, it converts line integration to surface and vice versa. So Stokes theorem, it changes the type of integration from line to surface or from surface to line. So we can apply line in Stokes theorem on left hand side. This will result in this expression. So if you want to learn Stokes theorem, you can refer the second section of this video. This is Stokes theorem. On left hand side, Stokes theorem states that the line integration of any vector is equals to the surface integration of del cross that vector. Integration line, closed line integration of any vector is equals to the surface integration of delta cross that vector. This is Stokes theorem. So after application of this, we can easily remove the surface integration from both sides. So we'll get expression like delta cross E equals to minus of del by del T of B. This will be the final relation. So the final relation will be delta cross E is equals to minus del by del T of B. So this also concludes with that the initial expression, that initial Maxwell expression, that is integration, closed line integration of E dot dl, it is equal to 0. But for time varying field it is not equal to 0, means this expression, it was not valid or not eligible for time varying field. So we have introduced V induced here, and we have substituted this value and we equated and solved with the help of magnetic flux density, and then with the help of Stokes theorem we have removed this integration sign and got the final relation. So this is nothing but delta cross E is nothing but the differential form of Maxwell second equation. Initially the Maxwell second equation was delta cross E equals to 0, but now here it is delta cross E equals to minus del by del T of B. Initially it was 0, delta cross E equal to 0, but here after for time varying field it is minus del by del T of. These two equations, Maxwell first and second, both are not valid for time varying fields. So we have modified these two equations, and remaining two equations are Maxwell third and Maxwell fourth. Both are valid for time varying field. Both are valid for time constant as well as time varying fields. So we'll discuss on that also. The Maxwell third equation, so Maxwell third expression is about it is just a minute. Maxwell third expression is the relation for D, that is displacement density. So on both sides you have integration sign, and this is nothing but the relation for magnetic flux density. So this expression, it indicates that it states that the total electric flux, this D is nothing but flux density, this is D is electric flux density. So if you integrate over a closed surface, then you will get total flux. So it indicates that the total electric flux leaving the closed surface is always equal to the total electric charge. The charge is present here, the charge present inside the closed surface, because this expression, it is coming from this fact that if you place a charge Q inside a closed surface, then this will radiate the electric flux, that is psi, on every side, on every direction. This will emit electric charge, and that will produce minus Q on this surface. So this from this expression we got that this charge is producing psi, and this psi is electric flux. So to get total electric flux, we have to do this integration. So if you take a small area, differential area, that is ds, this ds. So if you take the flux present in this area is nothing but d. So if you integrate d over complete surface area present, over the complete surface area where from this flux is crossing out the surface. So if you integrate this, you will get psi, which is equals to, and then on right hand side in the figure we have charge Q present inside the closed area, closed volume. Then if you take a unit volume, that is dV, if you take a unit volume in this area, and that will have volume charge density as rho v. So if you integrate rho v over the complete volume, then you will get Q. So this expression indicates that it states that the total electric flux, that is psi, that is crossing the surface is equal to the total electric charge present inside the closed surface. So if charge is equal to, let the charge be equal to 100, then the flux that will cross will be equal to 100. So 100 is a constant value. So for constant time constant field, this expression is valid. But for time varying field, if you take a variable here, let the variable be a. So on right hand side, left hand side, we will have variable a. So if you change the value of a continuously, then similarly the value of a will also change here continuously. Means this expression will always valid for time constant as well as time varying field. If you consider this practical case, if you change the value of this charge from 100 to 150, then it will radiate more psi equal to 150. So with changing flux, with changing charge, you will have a changing flux. With constant charge, you will have constant flux. So this expression will always be valid for time constant as well as time varying field. So this is Maxwell's third equation. It is valid for time constant as well as time varying field. So there is no need to modify this expression. This is always valid for both the cases, time constant as well as time varying field. That is time non-varying field and time varying field. Then the next expression is Maxwell's fourth equation, and that relates magnetic flux density. That expression is this is the expression. Integral form of Maxwell's fourth equation is in closed surface integration of magnetic flux density will always be equal to 0. When I was explaining this expression yesterday, I shown you a figure. Let me show that figure again. Consider this figure. This figure shows you that on z axis we are passing current I. The current I is flowing from bottom to top in this direction. It has a upward direction in positive z direction. Current is flowing in positive z direction. Then because of that current, due to Fleming's right hand rule, you can find the flux phi. It is produced around this current carrying conductor. Flux phi will produce around the current carrying conductor. Depending upon the value of current, you will get phi. If you have a current with a for example 100 value, then let us suppose that you will have flux of with 10 value. Number of flux, let there be 10 flux lines. If you increase the current from 100 to 200, you will get flux line 10 from 10 to 20 units or 10 to 20 number of flux lines. So for time constant, your current will be constant at particular value. Let that be 100 unit. It may be 100 milliampere. Let it current be constant at 100 any number. Then the flux due to that current will be constant. And if you put a volume inside this area so that the flux line crosses the closed surface, then the total flux crossing the closed surface can be found out with the help of this expression. This expression shows that if you integrate over a closed surface, means over all the surfaces, there are 6 surfaces. Top surface is first, bottom is second, left is third, right is fourth, and back was fifth, and front is sixth. There are 6 faces. So if you see that the top surface will not have any flux line crossing it, similarly the bottom will not, no flux line are touching first, second, third and fourth. Only the flux lines are crossing the 5th and 6th faces. So if you integrate B dot ds for top surface, you will get value 0. For bottom surface, you will get value 0. For left surface, you will get value 0, and for right surface, you will get value 0. So for 4 surfaces, the flux density will be 0. And for the front, if you add closed surface integration, if you take the integration of B dot ds, if you take the integration of B dot ds of the front surface, the value will be, here from the figure we can see 3 flux lines are crossing. Let the value be 3, because the flux lines are entering the closed surface will take positive 3. And for back side, for surface number 5, if you take integration b dot ds, then you will get value as -3, because the flux lines are crossing but it is coming out. Since we are taking the flux lines that are entering the surface, we are taking it positive, so the flux lines that are leaving the surface will take it as negative. So if we add all the values 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, -3 and +3, the result will be 0, because +3 and -3 will get cancelled out. So this expression is valid for time constant. But for what will happen for time varying field? For time varying field, the current will vary. For time varying field, the current will vary with time. Let the current be of this nature. If current will vary like this, sinusoidal, then with the increase in current, the number of flux line will increase. If number of flux line will increase, the number of flux line entering the surface will increase. Similarly, the flux line entering coming out will also increase with the same number. If suppose the flux line increased with increased by a number, and the total number of flux lines now are 10 instead of 3. Now we have 10 flux line entering, then we will have 10 flux line leaving. So plus 10 and -10 will cancel out, and the result will be 0. So this expression will be valid if current increases. Then if current decreases to some value, then number of flux line let it be now 1. Only one flux line crossing the box, then one will enter, one will exit, then it will be having +1 and -1 will be equal to 0. So this expression shows that the total number of flux line crossing any closed surface will always be 0, whether it is time constant field or time varying field. So there is no need to change Maxwell's fourth equation, because fourth equation, that is integration b dot ds, it is valid for time constant as well as time varying field. So now we can write all the 4 expressions collectively as this is a collective form of Maxwell's Maxwell equation for time varying field. So we can see that the third and fourth equation are unchanged, untouched. The first and second equations are changed. The first expression, initially it was not having this parameter, it was only del cross H equal to J, but after modification we will have J plus del by del T of D. And in second expression, initially it was del cross E equal to 0, but after modification it is del cross equals to minus del by del T of B. So these two expression had modified for time varying field, and these two equation was kept as it is because both are already valid for time constant as well as time varying field. Now we need to understand one concept, that if you take a dielectric medium, perfect dielectric medium or insulator, and if you made to travel the electric flux or electric field intensity in the space, then what will happen to Maxwell equation? Because we know that for perfect dielectric medium or insulator, there is no, because insulator is not conductive in nature, so the current will be 0. For insulator, the current will be 0, so current density will also be 0, and we know that current density is J, so current density J will be 0. And if current density J is 0, then the expression that uses J, that is J equals to sigma E. Since conductivity is 0, J is 0, so E also 0, or not E, J is also 0. So wherever we find J, we will put 0. So in this expression we have J, first expression. So for perfect dielectric medium, the expression will reduce to del cross H equal to del by del T of D only. This J will become 0. For perfect dielectric medium, that is insulator, this above the first expression will be modified as del cross H equal to 0 plus del by del T of D. This J will become 0. Similarly, if there is no conductivity, there will be no charge, means rho V will be equals to 0. Rho v equals to 0. So for perfect dielectric medium, rho v will be equal to 0. So you can find rho v here. So this expression will be delta dot d equals to 0. So these two expressions, that is first expression and third expression, will change for this case. For perfect dielectric medium, conductivity will be 0, therefore J will be 0. If J is 0, then in first expression this J will be 0, then del cross H equal to del by del T of D. The first expression will be modified. Similarly, for perfect dielectric medium, since charge is 0, then charge density will also be 0. If charge density is 0, then the expression, third expression, delta dot D equal to rho v will change to delta dot D equals to 0. So this is all about Maxwell equation. In next lecture we will study the fourth unit. Okay, thank you.